Hello dear students, today we will take Grammar Unit 1, page 7, and we will talk about present tense contrast. So we will compare between the tenses of the present, and we have two tenses to talk about. We will talk about the present simple tense and the present continuous tense. And you will know when do you use the present simple and when do you use the present continuous tense. So let's start with the present simple tense. To remind you of the present simple tense, you have to know where can you use it or how can you use it. So usage, we use it to talk about general truths or facts. So if you are talking about a fact or a general truth, you have to use the present simple tense. For example, the sun shines from the east. This is a fact. Number 2, for regular actions and habits, things that we do every day, habits that we are doing every day. Like, for example, Suha goes to school every day. I get up early every day. Number 3, for permanent situations, it means that the situations that don't change, they are permanent. They stay for a long time. So she lives in Alexandria. So this is a permanent situation. It doesn't change. Where does she live? She lives in Alexandria. Also, we can borrow this tense to talk about the future. But what exactly in the future? We borrow it to talk about timetables and schedules. So, for example, I can say the train leaves at 6:30 tomorrow morning. So, tomorrow morning, it's the future, and it's a timetable or a schedule. So that's why we use the present simple tense to talk about the future. If I want to talk about timetables or schedules. For example, also I can say the plane takes off at 11 next morning. How can I form the present simple tense? With he, she, it, I put the verb plus s. So I can say she eats her food. He cycles to the club. And of course, we will talk about verb to be in a minute. We add the es if the verb ends in ch, double s, sh, x, or o. Examples. Watch ends with ch. So in the present simple, I add es, watches. Miss, double s. Mrs., I add es. Splash, sh. Splashes, I add es. Go, o. So in the present, it's goes. So ends with es. Fix, fixes. And there are a lot of other examples. What about the verbs ending in a consonant plus y? We change the y to ies. So for example, fly, flies. We change the y into ies. Try, tries. Study, studies. With subjects like they, we, you, I put the verb in the infinitive. For example, they play football. We eat our food. Now let me remind you of the guiding words of the present simple tense. The guiding words: every, any word, every day, every week, every month, every year, always, usually, often, sometimes, ever, never, rarely. So we use all these words to express the present simple tense. So in the affirmative form, I can say he studies his lessons every day. So I put every at the end of the sentence, or I can put it at the beginning of the sentence. So I can say every day he studies his lessons. What about always, usually, often, and sometimes? We put them before the verb. So he always studies his lessons, or he sometimes studies his lessons. So all these words, we put them before any verb, but be careful, we put them after verb to be. So if I say he is a good student and I wanted to add sometimes, so I will say he is sometimes a good student. So I put sometimes after verb to be. So these words come before any verb and they come after verb to be. Of course, rarely we put it again at the end or at the beginning of the sentence. Now, what about the rest of the words? To change the sentences into negative, we can use never. So I can say he never studies his lessons. I put never also before the verb and I don't change the verb. He never studies his lessons. There is another form of the negative. With he, she, it, I put doesn't plus the verb in the infinitive. So he doesn't study his lessons. I put does, not, and I put the verb into the infinitive form. With they, we, you, I, do, I put do not plus the verb in the infinitive. So they don't study their lessons. So I put do not, and again I put the verb in the infinitive. So we have two ways to form the negative. You can use never, or with he, she, it, you can put doesn't plus verb in the infinitive. With they, we, you, I, you can put don't plus verb in the infinitive. How can we form the questions? Of course, again, you have to use verb to do in the present form, and again, you have to put the verb in the infinitive. So, for example, if you wanted to form a WH question, what does he study? You put does because you have he, and you put the verb in the infinitive. What do they study? Yes, no questions. Does he ever study? So you can use the word ever with yes, no questions. Do they study? Or I can put ever. I can say, do they ever study? Now we understand that we borrow the two words ever and never from the present perfect tense, but we can still use them in the present simple tense. Now what about verb to be in the present simple? In the affirmative form, I am nice. With he, she, it is nice. They, we, you are nice. The negative, you have to put verb to be plus not. So I am not nice. He, she, it's not nice. They, we, you are not nice. How can you form the questions in verb to be? you have to use verb to be itself to form the question. So for yes, no questions, you can say, am I happy? Is she happy? Are they happy? So we start with verb to be. With WH questions, of course you can use any word, but here we use why. So why am I happy? Why is she happy? Why are they happy? Okay, so this is a quick idea about the present simple tense. Now let's move to the present continuous tense. In the present continuous tense, we use it for certain situations. So let's make it a little bit bigger. We use the present continuous tense to talk about things that are happening now, or for actions that are happening at the moment of speaking. So for example, you can say, we are watching a DVD right now. Come over. Come with us and watch. So for things or actions that are happening now. Another example, you can say, the baby is sleeping, so don't make noise. We use also the present continuous tense to talk about annoying behavior with always. So I can use always in the present continuous tense only if it is an annoying behavior. For example, he is always talking about himself. He talks about himself all the time, and this is really annoys a lot of the people, or annoys his friends. Or you can say, she is always singing in the room and her voice is bad. So this is really annoying. Number 3, we can also borrow the present continuous tense to talk about the future. But to talk about the future in what? To talk about plans or arrangements in the future. So I can say Sally and Tom are flying to Rome next Friday. If they are flying to Rome, it means that they need a lot of plans or arrangements to do. They have to book the tickets, they have to tell their friends and their family, they have to prepare their clothes and so on. So that's why we can use the present continuous tense to talk about plans and arrangements in the future. Now let's explain more the present continuous tense. How can we form it? The present continuous is made from the present tense of the verb to be and the ing form of a verb. So you put verb to be plus verb plus ing. I am working, you are playing, he is talking, she is living, it is eating, we are staying, they are sleeping. Okay. Now what are the keywords for this tense? Now, at the moment, look, watch, listen, at this time, this week, tonight, and today. Spelling. With verbs ending in E, we delete the E and add ing. So close, we don't write the E and we add the ing. Closing. Drive, driving, without the E. With verbs ending in a stressed vowel plus a consonant, we double the consonant. So swim, we double the M, swimming. Run, we double the N, running. Travel, traveling, and so on. Verbs ending in IE, we change the IE into Y and then we add ING. So die, dying. How can we form the negative in the present continuous tense? We make negatives by putting not or the abbreviation N apostrophe T after am, is, or are. So we put not after verb to be. For example, I am not doing that. You aren't listening, or you are not listening. You aren't coming to the party, or they are not coming to the party. She isn't going home until Monday, or she is not going home until Monday. To form the questions in the present continuous tense, we make questions again using verb to be. So we make questions by putting am, is, or are in the front of the subject. So here you have the subjects, you, they, she, I, and in front of them you put verb to be. Are you listening? Are they coming to your party? So here in the first two examples, these are yes, no questions. What about WH questions? When is she going home? What am I doing here? Okay. Now, let's take a look at the stative verbs. How stative verbs are used in the present continuous tense. Can we use the stative verbs with the present continuous tense? We will see. There are two kinds of verbs, stative and dynamic verbs. First, we will start with the dynamic verbs. Dynamic verbs means that they are words of action or action verbs. So dynamic verbs are verbs that describe actions. They can be used in simple and continuous forms. It means that the dynamic verbs or the verbs that describe actions, it's okay. We can use them in both tenses, the present simple tense and the present continuous tense. What do I mean by dynamic verbs? The verb run, it's a dynamic verb. Swim, practice, exercise. So all of these are dynamic verbs because they express action. So for example, verb run, I can say I run 10 kilometers every day in the present simple, or also I can use it in the present continuous tense. I am running in a race at the moment. Okay, what about stative verbs? Verbs that describe a state or situation are not usually used in continuous tenses. So be careful. The stative verbs, we cannot use them in the present continuous tense. We have only to use them in the present simple tense. What is the meaning of stative verbs? They are the verbs that describe a state or a situation. For example, verb understand. It's a state of mind. So you cannot use verb understand in the present continuous tense because it's a stative verb. So you can use it only in the present simple. I don't understand you. but you cannot say I am not understanding you. It's wrong. Verb like belong, it expresses a possession. So this book belongs to me. Again, you put it or you use it in the present simple, but you cannot use it in the present continuous. Not this book is belonging to me. And these are some of the verbs, some of the stative verbs that you cannot use in the present continuous tense. Enjoy, like, love, hate, prefer, understand, believe, remember, forget, want, need, belong. So we cannot use these verbs, as I told you, in the present continuous tense. Be careful, sometimes stative verbs can be used with a dynamic meaning. Now be careful, because sometimes these verbs can mean in the sentence that it gives the meaning of a dynamic verb, not a stative verb. Let's check the examples and I will show you the difference. The first one, this cheese tastes nice. Tastes here, it means it's the state of the cheese. It tastes nice. What is the taste of the cheese? It's nice. So what is the state? It's the state of the cheese. So here tastes is a stative verb. That's why we only used it in the present simple tense. But in the other example, I am tasting cheese all at the moment. I am tasting, it's the action of tasting. So taste here, it's an action. It's like a dynamic verb. So in this case, it's okay. I can use it in the present continuous tense. So I am tasting cheese at the moment. Okay? Now let's go to your book and answer the exercise. Present tense contrast. We compared between both the present simple and present continuous tense. Let's answer exercise 3. Study the examples you found and then write simple or continuous for each use in the table. Which two uses refer to the future? Now, we use the present. Now, present. What? For habits and routines, of course, present simple. 2. For something happening now or about now. So, present continuous. 3. For describing annoying behavior with always. Present continuous. For a permanent situation or fact. Present simple. 5. For arrangements in the future. Present continuous. 6. For timetables and schedules. Example, cinema programs. Present simple. Now these two numbers 5 and 6, in these two we are talking about the future, but in number 5 we are using the present continuous, and in number 6 we're using the present simple. What are the stative verbs again? Stative verbs describe a state or situation and are not usually used in the continuous form, except that if they are expressing an action. So if they are expressing an action, like he is tasting the cheese, or she is smelling the perfume, so in this case we can use them in the present continuous tense. So the verbs enjoy, like, love, hate, prefer, understand, believe, remember, forget, want, need, belong. Exploit, exercise 1. Complete the rest of the dialogue with the present simple or present continuous form of the verbs in brackets. Number 1. Carol, just a moment, my phone is ringing. It's Laura. Hi Laura, I am on the bus. Number 2. We are watching the school sports day this afternoon. Yes, I. Number 3. Am looking forward to it. My friend Sally. Number 4. Runs really well. Number 5. Is she phoning? Because it's a question. Number 5, it's a question. You see the question mark? So, is she phoning from New York? Number 6. What? Again, it's WH question. What is she saying? Carol, be quiet. Luis, sorry. Laura, my brother, always interrupting. So it's an annoying behavior with always. So that's why we use it in the present continuous tense. So my brother is always interrupting me when I am on the phone. It's so annoying. Carol, yes, I. Number 8. I often go out at the weekends with Luis. Number 9. Why are you laughing? Number 10. I have to go now, Laura, but sports day finishes at 5 o'clock. Let's speak later. So you can always stop the video, answer the exercise, and then check your answers with me when you play it back again. And these are the answers. Exercise 3. Complete the sentences with the stative verbs in the box below. So here you have some of the stative verbs, and you have to use them to complete the sentences. 1. That bike belongs to me. 2. I prefer baggy clothes to tight clothes. 3. My brother wants to borrow my leather jacket. 4. I don't understand this sentence. Can you explain it? 5. I know what you mean. 6. Hello, do you remember me? We met briefly at Susan's barbecue. 7. Do you enjoy meeting people? Now let me show you the answers. And that's the end of this lesson.